Hi, friends. I'm Anna Bundy Hagler, and we are currently in the middle of our Cultivating Generosity worship series. It's serving as our stewardship campaign, but this piece on generosity is so interesting to me because we are a community only because we live individual generous lives. So I'm here with a couple of my friends, Becca and Daniel, to talk about how they have generosity in their own lives and how it fits here at FirstChurch. Hi, friends.
Hey,
how are you?
Good to see you.
Will you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Becca Maddens. It's my husband, Daniel, new husband. We have been at the church for just about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Isn't that weird?
It's gone quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you like to tell the story, or would you like me to, that how you got so involved here?
Well, I think we were really looking for a church in Dallas where there was a strong young adult community. And that's something that growing up in a church, it was always the people around you that have such a big impact. Mm-hmm. And it feels like in college, I didn't have a really good faith community.
Yeah.
And it feels like college and kind of young adult, it seems like you're either all in on one faith community or it's a struggle to find one. And so it was just such a blessing to walk into FirstChurch and see this really strong established church that was multi-generational while also having an intentional focus on young adults and really offering a community where we could be with other people that would challenge us in the right ways, but also understand what we were going through.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was kind of like the initial reaction to being here and having a young adults group. Almost a year later, what's important to you now at FirstChurch?
I think a lot of the same things. Mm-hmm. So it's really somewhere that we can kind of get our feet below us and be investing into a community within Dallas that has a really special feel for us and people that we know have our back and will lead us into the right spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, not to keep going back to that term of multi-generational, but I think that it's such a blessing to be in a place where we have been introduced to so many different people, and we have people that are older than us and that can kind of speak life over us and speak to their experiences, and it's really fun to see the younger generations kind of coming up, and, I like to think that I'm not too far removed from that, even though I'm not a child anymore. I still refer to young adults as youth group sometimes.
It kind of feels like sometimes.
But it's cool to see that, too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great little spot to be in where we have our people, but it's awesome to be in community with a broad range of people too.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. So a year in, where do you see your gifts most used here at FirstChurch?
One of the really special things has been having Becca in the choir and knowing that she can kind of have something that she's so passionate about and also a gift that she's able to bring into the sanctuary on Sunday morning. I know that's really awesome. And also just our involvement in some of the racial justice and social impact work and attending to the table talks and being an active voice in some of those conversations as well.
Yeah.
It's great that there are so many opportunities to get plugged in because I feel like we've been able to each kind of find our little niche and we can do some of those things together, but we can do some of those things separately. Right. And I think as a newly married couple, that's awesome because we're not just growing as a couple, we get to grow individually here too, which we love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I love that for y'all. So then in this series that we're in now, Cultivating Generosity, how is generosity important in your lives?
I think it's something that we've been very fortunate in the communities that we grew up in, that there were churches in the Dallas area that gave so generously into the programming that was important to us during very formative years and taught us not just what it means to be part of a church, but what it means to pay it forward in a church. Yeah. And whether it was volunteering in high school or now with both time and choir gifts and financial commitment as well, making sure that we're really kind of putting action into our faith and providing that forward back into the community.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think growing up, it was easy to see those visible impacts, right? I grew up Methodist, and so the Methodist men at my home church, they did college scholarships every year. And so I got one of those growing up. Yeah. And so it was really cool to see those kinds of programs and they were really impactful to me, right? College was expensive and that was a huge blessing. And so I think it's really cool to think about now that we have, more finances than we did when we were teenagers, being able to really sit down as a couple, say here's how we can make an impact. And especially tying into the table talks that we go to and all the work that we know that this church does so well. Yeah. Feeling we can't do everything, but we can support the people that are is really powerful.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm so grateful that y'all are here and a part of this community and just so committed to making this a priority. I mean, it really shows not only like in your lives as a couple, but individually. And I think that our church is better for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Of course.
great.
Yeah.